Gaming expos. I've been to my fair share. Usually the only scary things to be found at these events are crowds, lines, and body odor. But that wasn't quite the case at PAX West 2013, then known as PAX Prime, where an unmanned booth sent collective chills down the spines of attendees. Hello, and welcome back to Deep Cuts, a show that examines lore, backstories, and theories in video games. Back in 2013 in Seattle, Washington at PAX Prime, a creepy unmanned booth caught people's attention, and curiosity continued online on forums and message boards, and even were reported on by some video game websites. The booth itself was located in the Indie Mega Booth and contained a single old-school CRT computer monitor with an equally old-school webcam sitting on top of it. Both were covered in blood. The CRT monitor was displaying a name and logo for something called CamDrome. This booth, if you can even call it that, was bizarre for a number of reasons. First of all, there's no unmanned booths at these kinds of events. That just doesn't happen. What was playing on the monitor itself is what was most eerie. It was a series of videos playing on a loop, of people recording themselves using their webcams, almost the type of content you'd expect to see on YouTube. However, they all ended in violence, either suicide or murder, oftentimes at the hand of a mysterious, hooded figure wearing a mask. In between these shortcut videos, a program, CamDrome, was connecting, or at least giving the appearance of connecting to these video feeds as if they were coming live from people's webcams, connecting to servers, searching webcams, connecting. The logo and aesthetics for CamDrome are very inspired by 80s horror. Even the name harkens back to the 1983 cult horror film Videodrome, which is awesome. And the thing is, here we are, over 6 years later, and we still don't know what CamDrome is. We don't know who was making it or who still is making it. We're not even 100% sure if it's actually a game. I mean, it was at PAX, so that's likely the case. And PAX is a huge event, sold out yearly. Acquiring a space in the already insanely crowded Indie Mega Booth is not something that just happens, and it's not cheap. I reached out to PAX to see if they could give me any information on what person or what company rented out the CamDrome space back in 2013, and unfortunately, they weren't able to give me any information. According to them, they no longer have any information on 2013 exhibitors. Well, I mean, surely somebody knows, but I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. It was a long-ass time ago. And the thing that really hits home for me, PAX Prime 2013, I was there! I was there back in 2013, the year of Luigi. And I definitely always pass through the Indie Mega Booth. It's one of the things that PAX is best known for. So surely I saw CamDrome in person, but I suppose I just didn't give it a second thought. I unfortunately can't recall. And then, once PAX Prime 2013 was completed and being torn down for the year, CamDrome was left behind, unclaimed. There's a lot of strangeness and mystery surrounding everything to do with CamDrome, and admittedly, we don't really have a lot to go on. But let's examine what we do have and start off with the video loop from the PAX show floor. Besides the bizarre video clips, spliced between them, you can see the computer directory of a user named James, and some of the files within that directory. And well, the files on James's computer share some morbid similarities. A torrent file for something called Cream Lemon, Azumi Muto. Cream Lemon is actually a hentai starring Azumi Muto, who, in real life, was brutally murdered by her brother, Selena Como LaFleur. A musician and song, Selena was a Mexican-American musician who was also murdered by the president of her fan club. There was also a Sega CD emulator, as well as a couple classic 90s FMV games that appeared on the Sega CD, including Double Switch and the extremely controversial at the time, Night Trap. The file sizes themselves were also a point of curiosity. They didn't make any sense. Night Trap over 100 gigs? Well, it turns out using a basic number-to-letter cipher creates a sentence. Believe me, if I started murdering, there'd be none of you left. A now infamous quote from Charles Manson. Also displayed on the CRT monitor, a command line pinging to an address, camdrome.com. As of the recording of this video, in 2019, camdrome.com is unfortunately now offline. However, we can pay the site a visit using the Wayback Machine and see it as it was back in 2013. And it's not much. a website graphic with a link leading people to a Twitter account aptly named CamDrome. Digging into the site's source code, you're immediately greeted with a big ol' image formed out of text. Highlighting the letter M makes the image more apparent. It's our masked, hooded figure from the video. Just underneath that, a phrase repeated multiple times. Meat is meat. Some more oddities can be found throughout the page. You're doing this to yourself, marked under number 11. Feel the knife pull the wire around your neck. Now I'm watching you. Also associated with 11 in the page's data. The Twitter account itself only had a single tweet before the start of PAX Prime 2013. Watching you. Once PAX started, the account started tweeting. At first, just distorted images of the CamDrome computer, but it was also posting links to articles covering stories that involve murders and suicides that happened live on webcam. It even posted an ABC segment on Jessie Slaughter, a young girl who was a victim of cyberbullying. It also tweeted in code that once deciphered was a URL leading to a story of a girl who committed suicide as a result of cyberbullying. These were real stories, which is something that really strikes me as odd. If this was marketing to promote an upcoming game, exploiting these real things that actually happened to, I guess, establish tone, it's something that I feel like would be seen as in poor taste. During the event, the CamDrome account would go on to interact and even taunt some of the PAX attendees on Twitter. And following the show, CamDrome made quite a splash, attracting several video game websites to cover the story. And it garnered quite a bit of social media attention, even from some of the gaming industry's big names, like Cliffy B and Notch. One of the gaming websites to cover the story, 4playernetwork.com, did some digging on the CamDrome website domain and was able to find out who registered it. And as it turns out, it was Edmund McMillan. Oh Ed, we meet again. If any of you guys are familiar with my Deep Cuts video series, then you already know I made a video covering the Binding of Isaac ARG, which was the brainchild of Edmund McMillan. I actually had no idea Edmund was in any way connected to CamDrome before I started researching this story, but now I can't exactly say I'm surprised. It also possibly gives meaning to the phrase meat is meat, given that at the time McMillan was part of Team Meat, who created Super Meat Boy, but it may not be a direct correlation. When pressed on the topic, however, McMillan claims that he's not actually involved in the game. We know the dev who is making it and have been helping. We believe in the concept, but don't actually know that much about the project other than its initial incarnation and the booth setup. In the days following PAX Prime 2013, CamDrome reached out via email to 11 individuals in the game industry or games media, including Eurogamer, Cliffy B, and 4playernetwork.com. The emails came from the address 11@camdrome.com. We are not going to achieve a new world order without paying for it in blood, as well as in words and money. Our problems can't be ignored. We are the problem. I am the answer. We are in this together. I am humanity. You are, insert number here, of 11. Absolve yourself of guilt. Breathe life into me. The email also included a long string of letters and numbers. When decoded using a hex code translator, goes to an encyclopedia URL for the term "anhero," which is internet slang for a person who commits suicide. The term actually originated on 4chan. Also included in the email was an image file. However, it was incomplete. They needed to be pieced together using all of the images from the rest of the email recipients. And to this day, the image hasn't been 100% completed. However, digging into the HTML code of the site, people had found an image file turned to text using base 64 coding, and were able to salvage a super low-res image of what the complete version was supposed to be, although it looks like there's some text missing at the bottom, text that sadly may never be filled in. The CamDrome Twitter account, while very active during and shortly after PAX, then went silent, until about a month later in October. Only patient eyes will see Novus Ordo Seclorum. Novus Ordo Seclorum is Latin and translates to a new order for the ages. Okay, here we go. I gotta say, I'm a little bit disappointed. In all of the research that I did on this story, all of the old message boards and forums and Reddit threads that I went through, this was always glossed over. Nobody made this connection that I'm about to make, at least from what I could tell. And maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I am the crazy one. Because I just did another Deep Cuts video. It's literally the last one I made on that weird Kanye Quest game that apparently had ties to the Ascensionists cult and stuff like that. And during the making of that video, I admittedly did way more research on the Illuminati than I wanted to. But I had to. For the story. And now here we are again. Hear me out. Novus Ordo Seclorum. I know this quote, you know this quote. If you're watching this in the USA, odds are you have it printed inside of your wallet right now. It's on the $1 bill. It's often associated with the Eye of Providence. That damn eye in that damn triangle. Often also associated with the Illuminati, who, by the way, one of their main goals is of course to establish a new world order. This also links back to the 11 emails that literally starts off talking about wanting to achieve a new world order. And then, back to the computer terminal, one of James's files is for Endgame, Blueprint for Global Enslavement, which is a documentary by Alex Jones, who's been outspoken on the Illuminati in the past. For the New World Order, a world government is just the beginning. It's literally the first line printed on the back of the box. The tweet, the email, the file on the computer, this is all very intentional. I am not reaching here. There is an Illuminati connection somewhere worked into the story of CamDrome. There must be. Either that or I'm truly losing my mind, just projecting that damn eye and that damn triangle onto everything. But I know I'm right. My final piece of evidence that hit me like a ton of bricks is look at the damn logo for the game. A damn eye and a damn triangle. I rest my case. I see you, CamDrome. Things start to slow down after this, and after PAX Prime 2013, CamDrome never again made another appearance at any other gaming event. The following year, during PAX West 2014, a user tweeted at CamDrome to ask why they weren't at PAX, and CamDrome responded, "I am everywhere. But when will we see you? When you open your eyes and call my name. Have you found me yet?" Through 2015, the CamDrome Twitter account would put out tweets, but very few and far between. Now, I would be completely amiss if I didn't give a major shout out to the YouTube channel Nightmind, who really helped elevate and raise awareness of CamDrome. In 2016, Nightmind put out a video chronicling the events and mysteries surrounding CamDrome. This resulted in a surge of activity to CamDrome's Twitter account, which got CamDrome's attention, particularly through Twitter user Scott the Reciter, or The Goon, who had a pretty interesting game of cat and mouse with the CamDrome Twitter account. The Goon would ask it questions, but instead of responding directly, it would respond through its Twitter bio. "I'm watching you. Are you watching me? I can see you." The exchange went on for a while, but ultimately resulted in CamDrome crashing on Twitter. It's now safe to turn off your computer. CamDrome would resurface one more time in 2017 with a new look. It updated its profile to an image of Randy Quaid from Independence Day, in a scene where he says the line, "Hello boys, I'm back," and took on the name Ben Richards, which is the name of the protagonist in The Running Man. It first tweeted out a link to LiveLeak, featuring an interview with serial killer Richard Ramirez, aka the Night Stalker. What then followed was a series of cryptic tweets linking to YouTube videos such as "Hush, I'm not who you think I am, I'll be back, somebody's watching me." It was clear that it was almost trying to communicate using these video names, and the theory is that the 2017 tweets came from someone other than CamDrome, a person who was being watched, being followed by CamDrome. Please and thank you. Stop. They are watching me. I'm not the one. I lied. Sorry. This is not a game. I'm being followed by CamDrome. Though it looks like the person communicating through CamDrome's account eventually got found out. The last tweet to come out of the CamDrome account: "I'm trying to take pictures with my camera, but it shows this. Think it's trying to tell me a message?" Twitter user Randomizer discovered that if you look at the raw RGB data of the pixels, you'll see a repeating message. "I'm sorry for the deception and the confusion and the puzzles. They are watching, but they are dim. CamDrome was my story about them. They found out about it. Keep this private, please. Ben. Oops. And as of the recording of this video, this is the last tweet to come from the CamDrome account. Now in 2019, the Twitter icon is blank, the website camdrome.com is offline, things are looking bleak. So what was CamDrome? Looking at the evidence, it was a game likely inspired by 90s FMV games like Night Trap and Double Switch, with an 80s horror aesthetic. The story likely had an Illuminati twist, I'm sticking to it, and featured a mysterious hooded masked killer. Honestly, this game sounds like something that is very much up my alley, something literally tailored to my tastes. And clearly, I'm not the only one. CamDrome's bizarre, twisted, and morbid themes clearly piqued a lot of people's curiosity. Even years later, with initiatives like Poke the Bear, people were determined to know, what is CamDrome? The only person known to have a clear connection to the project, Edmund McMillan, to this day gets asked questions about it. In a February 2019 Twitter exchange, Edmund responded, "Word on the street is, CamDrome was boxed up and placed inside a wall years ago. It was recently rediscovered, but the film has been damaged by time. No idea what will come of it." Thank you so much for watching this episode of Deep Cuts. I thought this story was super interesting, super fascinating, the perfect kind of story to start off October with as well, and I really hope that someday in the future we get some sort of conclusion on the CamDrome story. Let me know what you guys thought about it. Thank you so much for watching. Peace out.